Okay, so today we're going to be getting a little into Genesis Testament here, number 10 at that. And yeah, we're actually going to have Aeon here. I can already see him gonna start us off here with a little introduction. I guess he's just gonna go through and yeah, after that, just yeah, basically like a review over this. And I think he actually had like a podcast or something that he sort of took some of this from. But other than that, that's pretty much about it. Let's just see what Genesis Testament is all about. Yeah, getting into this now, not of kind of, well, not everything of New Testament, because I don't think Aeon had like all the videos of New Testament, but still at least most of what I need to know. Yeah, the important stuff basically. So yeah, let's just see what this is all about. Hope you guys will enjoy. Make sure you like, subscribe again, and yeah, let's just get this reaction started.
Genesis Testament Volume 10 broke me. This is one of the most
Okay.
heartbreaking endings in the entire toaru franchise. But at the same time, it's one of the best written volumes we've had in a long time. So I really want to talk about it in detail. In this review, I'm not going to talk straight away about the major plot spoilers, including the emotional moments. I'm going to try avoid spoilers as much as I can at the beginning. But at the same time, I will have to talk about the events of the previous volume to give you some context so you understand what the hell's going on, in case you haven't actually read any of this. You definitely should read the light novels if you haven't already. Trust me, they're great. Anyway, without further ado, let's discuss this absolutely insane volume of Index.
Let's see what's
that has
so
left
heartbreaking.
many scarred. We continue directly from the events of Genesis Testament Volume 9, as the villain of that volume, Christian Rosenkreutz, aka Johann Valentin Andre, has been defeated by Toma and Alistair, and also killed by Alice, who is now back and has replaced her head, which was missing since CRC did crush it with his bare hands. Anyway, she's back, but she's not quite the same Alice. She is in a very bad mental state. She's pretty much gone berserk in the city, with her and Trismegistus having kidnapped Index to use her grimoire, supposedly. Or is there another meaning to why they have kidnapped Index in particular? Could it be to lure Toma to their secret hideout, aka Toma's school, as that's where they've taken up residence, as I guess Alice really wanted to go to school. Why? Toma has quickly recovered in the hospital thanks to Heaven Chancellor's amazing medical skills, as Ophinis tells him about the situation with Index, prompting Toma to go to try and save her and also stop Alice's madness. To which Anna Sprengel, his newfound ally, advises him that she should go with him, since this is pretty much a suicide mission, since Alice is so goddamn strong that if you upset her just one time, she might just blow up the entire universe. Yeah, you should not give someone like Alice the power to basically cause an apocalypse. That's never a great idea. Meanwhile, Academy City is at chaos once again, as something known as acute Kotatsu syndrome has infected most of the residents of the city, causing them to dress up in strange quirky outfits, kinda like the Transcendents, and then they're just causing riots and mayhem all across the city, and this is thanks to Alice's influence. She's basically turning Academy City into her own version of Wonderland. As yes, the story of Alice in Wonderland
Yeah,
does
pretty much.
actually impact Genesis Testament 10's narrative, taking inspiration from a set of invisible lines which decide the fate of where the protagonist leads to. Meanwhile, you also have the Transcendents split, fighting amongst themselves, with those on Alice's side.
Oh, okay. Oh,
versus
yeah,
the
new
ones
characters.
on Herman's
Okay.
side. Everything is
There's
basically
just
going to
people I
shit.
don't think
So
I've
yeah,
seen
that's
yet.
the basic plot of GT10. What did I think of it? Well, the volume actually starts off quite light-hearted, with some funny fan service moments between Anna Sprengel and Toma, and Kamachi Kazuma being quite self-aware about how he handles character deaths, and that his dialogue during fan service scenes is pretty unnatural. I did like the fact he's kind of poking fun at some of the criticisms of his novel, or at least that's how it appears to me. But the start of this volume definitely throws you into a false sense of security, as most of the volume has a really ominous and foreboding tone. It really does give you some chills at times, especially the creepy nature of Alice herself, who is one of the stars of the volume. Her and Toma especially blow this volume out of the park. The characterization of both Toma and Alice, amongst other characters, is at its best. It is absolutely incredible what Kamachi does with them. While Alice may seem like an innocent girl who simply doesn't understand the nature of her power, she is far more sinister than you could possibly imagine. And it's not entirely her own fault either, as we learn about her backstory and true nature in the volume. And my god, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't know, Alice might be in my top 10 toaru characters of all time.
Top 10, okay.
She's an incredible character, and I feel like she's one of the most unique Index characters at the same time. She's not really a villain or evil per se. Without spoiling too much, she's basically been molded into what she is. And it's not her fault for that either, making her kind of a tragic character as a result. Meanwhile, the main character Kamijo Toma, once again, blows it out of the park. In GT9 we saw a dark twist to Toma's character, which I really appreciated, and he does feel a lot of guilt for that, and also believes he is somewhat responsible for Alice's downfall, causing him to try and make amends for what has happened. And I feel like we see Toma's true nature at the end of the volume. I feel like we got to see what Toma actually represents in the story, and it was a beautiful moment to witness. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. While this volume does have some action in it, mainly with the Transcendents fighting amongst each other, it is not the main focus of the volume, as I feel like GT9 was pretty much action from start to finish. GT10 is more about the tone and characters. It goes really in depth with both. It has one of the most chilling atmospheres in Index, and Kamachi's character work makes it much more compelling than some of the more boring action set pieces in GT9 at the beginning. And this volume does feel like it has actual consequences to it, which is much appreciated. There were also plenty of other stars in the volume, such as the two Annas, Aleister, and Trismegistus. While people may have thought from the summary that Index may have been more of an important character in this volume, she's pretty much a damsel in distress for the most part, although her being included is important for the story and Toma's character. But at the same time, I would have liked to have seen Index be more of a major player than she was. But that's a nitpick at best. Everything else I really enjoyed. Now, let's finally talk about what happened in this
here we
volume
go.
that was
Let's
so
see.
devastating. Well, Toma's dead. I'm not joking. He's
Okay.
dead. It's not uncommon in Index to
Yeah,
Toma
just start
to
off
die,
with it.
since he's died a few times in Genesis Testament, but good old Mary has revived him each of those times. And in the Ophinus arc, Ophinus was basically recreating the universe over and over again, so I guess there was a different Toma in every phase that she created, making it look like she was reviving him, so he wasn't truly dying even though he was. But this time, it's pretty much set up that Toma was destined to die since Genesis Testament Volume 5, where Toma rejected Alice's advances to accept her power to make everything go smoothly for him, basically giving him good luck and being able to solve problems quite easily. He rejected that because he was somewhat influenced by how he felt when Ophinus was tampering with the world, so he didn't want to go that route. But now he has faced the consequences of doing that. And good old Mary can't revive him this time.
Literally,
because
good old
Alice
Mary.
is much stronger than her, and she directly gets her power from Alice herself. So there is no way back, apparently. Until we read the afterword. But let's talk about the death itself. How was it handled? So Toma goes down fighting. He manages to defeat Alice by punching her in the face. He basically says he doesn't wish anyone to suffer as much misfortune as he has done in his life. And I feel like that is what truly drives Toma's character in the entirety of Index. He lost his memories. He doesn't know who he truly is. He has embraced the mantle of what he believes Kamijo Toma is, trying to be the best person he can be. And at the same time, he's made mistakes. He's not flawless. And he kind of regrets some of the actions he has taken, especially in recent times with CRC, where he basically was willing to kill him directly, which we haven't really seen much from Toma, if at all, where he has pretty much abandoned his core philosophy. But I feel like this is him trying to rectify that. He has the option to use the Dragon Strike against Alice, which would have turned him directly into the monster we saw in the previous volume. But he denied that, because not only would it be futile since Alice could resurrect herself perhaps, but at the same time, he didn't want to lose himself once again. He wanted to stay true to who he was.
So yeah, character development. I like
That's one of the reasons
that.
why Alice became obsessed with him, because he always saw himself as not needing her power, while everyone else wanted a portion of her power for themselves or to save a group of people. And you may think, well, Aeon, we've seen him die many times before. What's the difference with this time? Well, I think the major difference is that it's been built up for the entirety of the volume, and the way Kamachi writes it into the story with Index is is really well done in my opinion, and the most heartbreaking thing was seeing everyone's reaction to it. While brief, I think we saw Misaka scream a bit as she saw Toma's body like be airlifted into the hospital, and Shokuho says she pretty much expected this to happen at some point because she knew that Toma couldn't keep getting away with getting into trouble like this, and eventually this would happen to him because of how reckless he actually is. Well, the worst reaction of all was Index's. Index is basically lost for words. She's covering her mouth, she's crying buckets of tears, and Kamachi says something like, because of her perfect memory, she would basically remember everything that Toma ever said and did. And that line broke me.
Yeah, that
was heartbreaking. Like, seriously.
You just literally remember everything at that point.
Yeah, excellent bit of writing right there. That definitely made me feel feels. As yes, Heaven Chancellor was unable to save Toma this time since he cannot resurrect the dead. However, all hope is not lost for Toma, as he basically wakes up in a world just covered in white. Kind of similar to the Black World in New Testament Volume 9. And I definitely think this is a homage to it. It definitely does feel that way. As George Lucas once said, it's like poetry, it rhymes. And I'm not sure what exactly this world is. I mean, sure, it's the afterlife, but we don't exactly know what the afterlife consists of in Index. Is it heaven, hell, purgatory?
It could be all types of things, yeah.
A school district. I'm curious to learn more about what the afterlife actually is, and I think in the next volume we definitely will. But Toma isn't alone, strangely, as Anna Kingsford, who is basically a revived corpse and also a cyborg, has the power to seemingly visit the afterlife herself. As she says to Toma that she will try her best to reward him since he doesn't deserve to die, and this will involve a hell tour of sorts, or a jailbreak. And does this mean that in the next volume we're going to get Dante's Inferno with Toma and Anna Kingsford? Are we going to get them exploring hell and meeting Lucifer? If so, my god, I really cannot wait for the next volume. I literally have no idea where the story is going to head from here, which makes it really exciting as a result. And apparently this can help Toma make a return. But it makes me think at the same time, what consequences are there going to be for this? Since I don't want Toma to get revived and everything is just going to be back to normal. There has to be some ramifications and change because of this. As if anyone can come back from the dead, it pretty much renders death null and void in this series more so than it actually already is. And Toma himself at the end of the volume, I think it's the last line, says, surely there's a catch to this. Like, he's suspicious himself about what Kingsford is saying. Therefore, I do honestly think that there will be more to it than simply just coming back like Jesus. But yeah, I want to talk about Alice once again, as we learn that Alice was actually Alice Liddell, which I did predict on Twitter, by the way. Alice Liddell was basically the girl that Lewis Carroll used as the inspiration for Alice in Wonderland, and that a teacher of Aleister Crowley then took a 50-year-old Alice Liddell and basically turned her into a child forever, giving her the power of the Secret Chiefs, molding the world entirely to what she desires, just like Wonderland. Basically, this teacher of Aleister did some really messed up stuff to both change her physically and also destroyed her mentally by completely erasing her personality. Like, Alice is one of the most messed up backstories in Index as a whole, and that's saying something. And her true nature is this animal, feral-like state, other than this portrayal of an innocent girl as she's appearing to be. And we do get to see this animalistic nature of the true Alice inside, as I think what Alice desires most is someone who challenges her and also someone who actually cares about her truly inside.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, her like kind of coming out.
Also pretty strong in the volume, as we
I can see
think that he wants to revive CRC because he's still after a savior who will save the world and unite the Transcendents. What I think what Trismegistus truly wants is what is best for Alice, as he switches sides to Toma's, which was a surprise admittedly, as usually he is the Transcendent who is most loyal to Alice. But I guess he realised that Alice was too far gone and that Toma could be the guy who he needs as the savior. Also, I've got to talk about Aleister Crowley and Accelerator. Aleister was very emotional in this volume in terms of letting Anna Kingsford go away, as he pretty much thought she was going on a suicide mission to try and stop Alice. And Kingsford basically offers emotional support to many characters in this story, with her telling Alistair that he has the chance to change his life and become a better person. Meanwhile, Accelerator seems to be finally out the jail, as Trismegistus destroyed it, but at the same time, he apparently lost to random letters himself. Now that's embarrassing, not gonna lie. I would love to see Alistair and Accelerator team up in the next volume to see where the world will head after Terma's death, as I don't know if they will go after Alice or find out who the teacher of Crowley is. We'll have to wait and see, as if Alice is truly at peace now after fighting Terma, then I'm unsure what the next threats in the volume will be, if we are talking about the real world and not the afterlife, that is. Also, Anna Sprengel is a great character again in this volume. She has had a lot of character development since her debut in this story, as she has become a way better person than she was prior. And no doubt she will struggle without Terma, as she pretty much became attached to him after he helped protect her from CRC. Anyway, despite the volume being really sad, I think GT10 was incredible. I'm going to have to rate it a GT10 out of 10. Easily the best volume of GT so far. And let me know what you think will happen in the next volume. And check out the VOD of my GT10 podcast on screen right now if you want to see me, Mal and Ofnus talk more in detail about the overall volume, as we discuss it in much more detail there. Thank you for watching.
And that is it for this one here. Okay, well, let's see. So yeah, definitely heartbreaking. Yeah, just hearing some of these lines, and then yeah, Index literally remembering everything that they've done. It's like, you know, usually you would just kind of go over that over time and just really think about that, but it's like, no, she just literally remembers that, and it's just like, yeah, it's just almost as if he was like, we literally just did this yesterday or something, you know. So that's what's unfortunate. Like, of course you want to remember them, but like, yeah, to think like, you know, we literally just did this yesterday or something, or we just did this like this many months ago, like remembering literally everything that he's done for you or something, like, yeah, it's just something else. And yeah, I get what Aeon is talking about here. Like, yeah, you don't want him to just die and then just come back and everything's just fine, you know, right? Like, no, there's got to be some type of like change or something. Not like, I guess, too drastic, but, you know, just something at least a little different, or some type of consequence. Like, okay, yeah, you could be alive, but yeah, there's something that has to get taken away or something, right? But yeah, we're just have to wait and see. 'Cause I think this was like, one of the most recent Genesis that he just did. So yeah, I don't even think 11 is out, because when was that tweet? Like, what was it, March or something that I just saw? But basically, I still feel like it's recent. I don't even know how long these let me see. Yeah, March. So I don't know. It may be out. But yeah, I don't even know how long they take to you know, make these light novels and all that. But yeah, seeing some new characters here. And yeah, he just straight up went with it. Yeah, Toma just dies. So let's see. A transcendent of the bridge builders cabal uses the miracle of resurrection. Okay, so that's who she is. Oh yeah, and I like that. Yeah, that character development. Like, yeah, not trying to do the same thing, not trying to die a million times. Yeah, not trying to go through that whole process again. Like, he's learned through that from that situation. The only thing about him though that will probably never change is him just always risking his life and trying to be like that. Not even trying to be the hero, just really trying to be a good guy in general. Trying to save these people. And yeah, this Alice in Wonderland thing, already kind of, because he actually mentioned this beforehand in some other video, so yeah, I kind of already knew that. And then most likely, not even just in toaru, it can be other anime. Yeah, they usually use characters, just say like Alice in Wonderland or something. You know, they usually reference that and base a character off of that. Just common things that we would already know about, stories and all that. Because it's obviously easy to go off of, and then kind of make your own story from that character. Or that, like, that tale, whatever part of fiction that is. Yeah, they just take that. Yeah, I could also tell, 'cause I was like, what's going on there with the hand on the neck? Yeah, this was kind of like a heartbreaking story of what was going on here. Yeah, I was like, okay, hold up. But yeah, usually take those characters and just make their own story from that. Alright, well, let's see. It might have been, yeah, 'cause I'm like, what is so heartbreaking? I'm seeing, what was that? The, well, yeah, this here? Like, come on now. I think I saw her with like the little, yeah, you gotta pull down, and I think, was it confetti comes out, like, for parties and all that. I'm like, what is heartbreaking about this? Then I also saw, yeah, this part right here too. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So yeah, that different version of her kind of like, yeah, coming out there. And I like, yeah, we got to see him mostly throughout this, seeing that face cam and seeing, yeah, like, yeah, he's being put on the spot technically. I mean, it's not like it's not like he's not gonna know what he's talking about. And literally, yeah, you can literally have like what you want to talk about kind of written down or something as you just look at it on the other screen. But yeah, kind of being put on the spot, not just simple like voice over where he, yeah, literally has it written down or just kind of going over it in general. Like, yeah, you're literally facing your audience right now, and that's what I like. Yeah, he did it perfectly. And yeah, I just like to see like that whole face cam thing. And I've seen him before. It's good to see literally like, yeah, the whole video, or at least like half of the video you're seeing him, and then other pictures and all that that he edits in. Yeah, anyways, I'll just end it off here though. Hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you like, subscribe again, and y'all just see you guys in the next one.